Forward-looking statements. So 92 Resources Corp is a junior mineral exploration company focused on base and precious metals, as well as some legacy lithium assets focused on the James Bay region of Quebec. This is the James Bay region of Quebec. The company's primary asset is a Corvette-FCI. You can see that located in the upper right-hand corner. This is a lithium gold play. Initially staked it for lithium, but as we recognize the gold and copper potential as well. And you can see there the Mythril discovery. This is a discovery, a potential porphyry discovery by Midland Exploration, very high-grade copper that was previously unrecognized in the region. And this has brought in a lot of focus into the area. The James Bay region is an excellent region to explore. It's Norman commented yesterday that it's like the Abitibi 100 years ago, and I couldn't agree more. It's a significant potential here. The infrastructure is very strong. There's 2 operating mines. There's the Eleanor Gold Mine, as well as the Renard Diamond Mine that's located just a little off the slide. There's also the Whabouchi Lithium Mine that's currently under construction. And there's significant infrastructure through the James Bay hydroelectric development that occurred in the 60s and 70s. And this is Quebec, most of its power, 99% of it or so is brought from this clean hydroelectric power. And this is all based out of this region. So there's a lot of infrastructure that's well maintained by Hydro-Quebec. And you can see the power lines running through the region and through the property itself. Within 10 to 12 kilometers, there's several power lines as well as road infrastructure. So this is well maintained, highly underexplored area, very attractive. It also has a modern lands claim agreement through it. I believe it was the first in Canada. And basically, there's structured mechanisms for resource management and for engagement with Indigenous peoples. And this adds a nice layer of de-risking to the project immediately as we know who we need to engage with and how things are laid out, and specifically for resource management. So very important. The Corvette property, we initially staked it for lithium. We're quite interested in that potential. And however, we recognized for sure the gold and the base metal potential. And so this sort of was a common geological setting that gave us a natural hedge in the market. Normal commodity markets, the gyrations, allows us to pivot and focus on this gold and base metal potential now. But we maintain the upside of that lithium for if that market eventually rebalances. We really like the place, so we worked with Osisko Mining to option another portion of the property. And this part here, FCI East, we optioned that for the Lac Bruno prospect and also to carry on the lithium trend, as well as FCI West here that we recently optioned this year under the same terms. And this allowed us to basically consolidate the play and also puts us further into the area play being developed by Midland Exploration. And this is a an interesting discovery, very high-grade copper. I've done initially drilled it with 12.5 meters, 1.4% copper equivalent, 54-meter intersection of 0.27 copper equivalent. Significant copper on surface, dozens of boulders, greater than 4% copper, samples up to 13% and 16% copper, as well as gold up to 16 grams per ton. So it ignited a lot of interest in this area. And in addition, you see Azimuth SOQUEM around there, as well as Quebec Precious Metals in the area. So this is definitely a lot of stuff happening in this area. And this is a big reason that we were invited here today by John Kaiser, the inherent potential of the gold and base metal, but also this developing porphyry-style mineralization that adds this beautiful undertone of potential to the project as well. And further in this regard, I thought I would, to provide some context, I thought I'd put a slide specific to the discovery just to illustrate the significance of the larger narrative of potential of the area and why there's so much interest being brought on. So this discovery by Midland started in 2011 with going out to visit a showing, a moly showing. It was shown in the database, and they went out there and went to that and found all kinds of copper mineralization on surface. They announced this at Explore in late 2018, and they followed this up immediately with some IP surveys, some dipole surveys at first to get some 3D inversion and drill hole targeting, as well as gradient surveys as well. And they found a significant large chargeability anomalies, multi-kilometer, over 5 kilometers chargeability anomalies with associated resistivity anomalies as well. So very positive. They immediately announced a scoping drill program, essentially a vectoring program of 10 holes to probe it at first. And during this time, BHP made a very large investment into that company of almost $6 million. at a premium $1.73, and this was pre-drill results. So immediately you have a validation of the play from a major that really understands these sorts of deposits to invest in this at this early stage. So they really see the potential here and so on. And the first drill results, of course, were announced, and they were encouraging. There's a strong potential there for this system, and it's definitely developing. At the same time, Azimut was putting out some news with SOQUEM, and they're on the ground just along strike here, and they released a whopping copper anomaly in lake sediments and associated bismuth anomaly and so on. And this anomaly, if you look at the regional data, extends throughout this whole area. So there's all indications are the system is very big. It's very unusual in terms that it's a porphyry in this sort of environment, and there's a lot of potential for those reasons, and it's very high grade is what the surface samples are showing, which is very unusual for these porphyry systems. Regional geology. So you can see we're located in a greenstone belt here. These are metavolcanics and metasediments. These are very multi-commodity potential. So there's a lot of potential for orogenic gold, VMS-based metals, and lithium pegmatite as well. So that natural hedge I mentioned. The company itself has demonstrated potential through the Golden Gap and Lac Bruno prospects. The Golden Gap is a shear-hosted vein sort of orogenic occurrence, as well as Lac Bruno, which is a mineralized boulder, and I'll touch on those a little bit later, as well as CV1, which is lithium. And of course, there's the potential for porphyry-style mineralization here, which is not widely recognized before. Most porphyries occur in younger rocks, less than 60 million years. These rocks are Archean age, they're very old, and therefore there's typically preservation issues. There's problems with deformation and so on. It becomes difficult to recognize that mineralization. So it's very positive to find this, and it's also very high grade. So this adds to the potential of the entire region, not just Midlands property, but also on 92s. This is just first vertical derivative, so this is what we want to see. We want to see a lot of structure and so on, and we can see this and a lot of activity. And this is basically outlining several trends, gold trends, several over 10 kilometers, a copper trend over 10 kilometers that has multiple showings on it, so very positive as well. I just want to highlight the molybdenum. You can see the molybdenum here where Mythril was discovered, as well as we have a very similar showing in our project, and we'll be looking at that in great detail this summer to understand. But it's high-grade lithium and gold associated as well with copper and silver, so this will be very interesting for us to follow up on. This is just copper, so it shows you again the concentration of copper, and also you can see the unexplored nature of the region. There's very few samples outside of this one focused area. This is gold. This is simply highlighting that structure. East-west structures are very important here for the mineralization, and we can see the Golden Gap itself is located on this structure along a cross structure. The Golden Gap itself was the most advanced prospect on the property, about 5,000 meters over 23 drill holes. Best intersect is 10.5 grams per ton over 7 meters. It's shear hosted. It's located at the contact of some metavolcanics and metasediments, so we're quite interested in this project and or this aspect, and we're going to be following that up this summer as well. Lac Bruno is a mineralized boulder. There's a mineralized boulder field, about 13 boulders over a gram per ton. The highest grade of 38.1 grams per ton. Based on glacial ice direction, we're quite certain this is located on the Corvette property. And for context, for example, Eleanor, one of the first indications of that was a boulder, 23 grams per ton. So this is very standard geology and tried and tested ways of making discoveries. Key takeaways: there's demonstrated gold potential in this property through the Golden Gap prospect, 10.5 grams per ton over 7 meters in drill hole. Lac Bruno prospect, two separate targets on a large gold trends. Demonstrated copper potential that has not been looked at in much detail whatsoever. And so this will be, there's a greater than 10 kilometer prospective trend that we'll be paying a lot of attention to for VMS potential, but also for porphyry style potential that could trend through this area as well. And again, that Mythril style, it's porphyry, it's not expected here, and it's very high grade, which is unusual. And all indications are this system is very big. All the geophysics that's done, all the surface sampling that's done indicates that this system is big, and the general potential is stronger to the east and to the south and along trend. So this is very positive for us in this space here. Key management: Adrian Lamoureux, President and CEO of the company, significant experience in venture capital markets, successfully financed a number of private and public companies. And Dusan Burke, CFO with over 40 years experience in management, marketing, promotion, myself as well as VP Exploration. We can chat more about the management at the booth later if you like. And our share structure. Company has 88 million shares outstanding, 106 fully diluted, market cap of 4 million. So the company has a very diverse portfolio of assets focused on this Corvette-FCI property, established gold, base metal, and lithium potential. And it's also one of the most high torque plays to this emerging area play as well. Our market cap is 4 million. It's about a quarter of Azimuth, Zoquems, which is about a quarter of Midlands as well. So in terms of upside potential, there's significant torque to any discovery by any of these players in the region. And we feel that we have a very, very strong ground and land position to make a discovery of this nature in our own right as well. So thank you very much.